Welcome everybody for our information session. We have first Shirley Community Reserve. From Parks, we've got Barbara. Welcome, Barbara.
Megan's online.
Megan's on. Kia ora, Megan. Just wanted to say John is online. Victoria is an apology. Emma would be joining us, so apologies for lateness from Emma, and I would say from Jake as well, possibly on the way. And Pauline. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. All right. Does work?
Should do. Give it a go.
Perfect. There you go.
All right, so I'm here today to just have a chat with you about the concept plan that we've come up with for a landscape plan, I should say, for the Shirley Community Reserve. So I assume you all know that my colleague Selena is just building the community centre there.
Yeah.
So looking quite well. So I'm coming in to do the landscaping around the community centre, and we're looking at removing and replacing some of the old assets within the park. And then actually creating a new community space. So we've already done some early engagement with the schools in the area, and we have a draft that is currently within the budget, but as you know, things fluctuate a little. So this is a first draft. You all know where the park is, I assume. So yeah, these are just a few images just to kind of set the scene. So the big empty space clearly is the new community centre. We still can see the pump track in there, which is still located there, the modular pump track. And then to the right of that is the playground currently, and hidden under the trees in the top right corner is where the half basketball court is at the moment. So what we've come up with is actually a nice setup surrounding a central lawn, which will also link to the community centre. So the community centre is just at the bottom of the page. You can just see the asphalt path in front of it, and a bit of the car park to the left. So we're going to create a new mini full basketball court. So it's pretty much two half basketball courts together. Same as at the QE2 park, if you may have been there recently. And then we're also planning to have netball hoops on the center lines either side. So we actually create a space for netball as well at the same time. We're relocating the table tennis just off to the right, which is also in the park currently. I think that was better funding previously. So that will just get relocated. And from there, we come to a picnic area where we're going to create a gazebo. We're hoping to match the style of the building. And above that, we're having a new pump track and a few skatable elements. And off to the right, where currently the basketball court is, we're actually going to create a bit more of an adventure play space, a little bit more challenging for the older kids. And then when you come around to the right, closer to where the play center is as well, we're creating an accessible space, also with a bit more focus on toddler play, with some swings, a spinner, slides, and a bike loop track for the younger ones. So that was something that came through in the early engagement with the kids. They sort of like the modular pump track. Some were saying it's too advanced, and once you get it, it kind of gets boring, and that it's a bit of a hindrance having the young kids without the skills kind of in between. So they were quite keen to have a bit of separation. So while we don't want to separate them completely, we've kind of created a bit of a safe space in the corner next to the kids' play, where it's more focused on a bit of a skills track with just tiny bumps. So I can go through the images a bit more. Oops, if it works. Yeah. So within that area, so the images are pretty much across the whole play area. So you can see at the middle bottom there is the big adventure climber. So that's the one that we're hoping to include in the senior area and a larger swing set. So the adventure climber has also a few hidey holes underneath, a few tunnels, and the slides incorporated. And then in the junior area, it's, as I was saying, like there's still a mount with an embankment slide for the younger kids, and the honeycomb carousel, which is an inclusive item, and a trampoline. The waka currently has the wrong style, so we're working with Itiora and that as well, just to get the style right. And what the kids also suggested was that they were quite keen to create a link to Dudley Creek. So we're hoping that during detailed design, we'll get a chance to look at that a little bit more and create little probably signage or little info plugs, and probably in the design itself for the rubber core for the playground, that we can actually incorporate some elements of that. The pump track, this is just an example for now. We are quite keen to also talk to Otatahi Skate and kind of check in with the kids as well, get a better feel for what they're thinking about this, but it's similar in style to a pump track we've recently done at Bromley Old School Preserve. So if you're interested, you can have a look. There's also an image of that one at the bottom, and a small skate area. So while it's not a skate park as such, we were actually hoping to at least integrate some of that. So it's really like a wheeled play area where you can go on your scooter, your skateboard, your bike. So a little bit for everyone. And this is the skills track that I mentioned. So as you can see, it's really more about learning to weave on your bike, on your scooter, and just a few little humps. So it's still going to be quite fun, but it's really focused more on skills of learning to ride. Yeah, and the basketball court, as I said. So we're going to make sure, because it's so close to the car park, we actually want to put up a higher fence to actually stop any balls from going onto the car park. Yeah, and have the netball hoops off to the sides. This is just on the gazebo. So we'll have sheltered picnic tables. We're planning to have 2 under the gazebo and then another one in the sun. The style on that is actually an AI generated image at the top, just to kind of indicate what it could look like. But we're actually working with the architect from the community center to see whether we can match the style and work with the shelter supplier to see that we get as close as possible to what the building looks like, just to give it a little bit more of a fit. So we're aiming to continue talking to the local residents, park visitors. There is public consultation that is ready to go, if you are comfortable with that. We also want to go back to the schools that we previously engaged with and see what they think about the concept design. We want to have another chat with the Shirley Play Center. We've asked them whether they wanted to provide some early engagement. They were actually quite happy to just go along, comment on the public consultation, but we'll keep them in the loop. And I know there are quite a few local community groups and organizations quite keen to have a say, so we'll make sure that during the public consultation, we'll actually have a chat with them as well. And also all the previous submitters that submitted for the Shirley Community Center. And probably as always, but we're hoping that if we can do the consultation starting this week, that we'll have a chance to make any updates to the concept that are required, assuming that there will be relatively positive feedback. If we don't, it might take longer, but I'm hoping that I can come back to the board in early November with a decision report. And going well, we'll hope to finish the detailed design this year and then do procurement early next year, and hopefully even get the construction April to May. Might be March to April, or it might be May to June. I'm not quite sure yet, but it's in that window. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm keen to hear your thoughts. What you think of it, any comment or feedback?
Thank you, Barbara. It does look promising. I have got Pauline here who's got hand up. Pauline, take it away.
Thank you. Kia ora, everyone. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. It's so exciting. I think it's really cool. Just one question with the picnic tables under the little gazebo. The Shirley Community Trust has got a gazebo and they've got one big table. And I think that works really well because, you can have several groups using the table, but they can also, connect together. So whether you want to have that as an option or just put in one, I don't know. And the other one is a question. You talked about that pump track at Bromley somewhere. Where's that? I want to go and have a look at it.
Bromley Old School Reserve.
Oh yeah, around New Brighton Road there. Is it?
Yeah,
Where the old school was.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's great. So is it more of a dirt track rather than a synthetic or?
No, it used to be just a dirt track and we've upgraded it to asphalt.
Oh,
It's actually
okay,
quite
right.
impressive now.
All right. Okay. Hey, thank you. Good work. It's awesome. Cheers.
Thanks, Pauline. Anyone else have questions?
No questions, but looks great.
Cool. Indeed. Cool. Thank you, Barbara. Okay.
Too good.
Thank you.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
keep going.
Yes.
So you all happy for us to go out to consultation with this plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I guess one question is, can we do it faster? I mean, do we have to have such a long consultation? What have you got, 6 weeks or 4 weeks?
Oh, no, we're planning on 3 weeks.
3, okay, when you can't do
It might be 3.5. I think we're usually trying to do 3 weekends. So I'm assuming if we started sometime later this week, it might be 3.5.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, there's another hands up. Is that-
No, okay. John is clapping for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks so much.
Oh, that's really cool. Looking forward.
Haven't quite got our staff available yet,
okay.
just skipping over, so
Going
we're
to
still
France.
live streaming, so I might,
Can we pause it?
we can, certainly one way of doing it is muting.
Oh, okay.
We'll lose Pauline and John for a moment, but just to let them know, make a cup of tea, we'll work on getting other staff here, just while we're,
All good?
muting.
the coastal community board there.
Would you bike and then took a car?
Yeah, that'd be it. Oh, crikey. I didn't see that side of your face, Mr. Custer. Oh, oh.
It's not easy to get a greeting. We're not live streaming, are we?
There we go. I'm sure you.
Kia ora, Michael. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're just getting ready.
Yep.
All good. Oh, please take it away.
Sure. I'm Michael Ferrico, transport planner, and currently aiming to progress this part of the MCR work to an endorsement by council on the route selection. Joining me soon will be Lauren Boyce from WSP. And also online we've got Tessa Zant from Engagement, who may or may not come into question time or whatever, but I will run through a short slide. Primarily it's to just update you on where things are at. It is an update of a previous PX assessment of the route, but with current approaches, it's now in public at this level. What we're looking to do is advise the two community boards where it tracks across your areas of its existence, how it's come about, what's involved in it, and then that will inform you for when or if the council accepts it as an endorsement on the route selection and then moves towards consultation. So that's the background. Currently, I will just clarify, it's listed in the LTP over the next number of years out till 2033, with the majority of the funds sitting in the 30 to 33 years, but it's listed under Avon Otakaroa MCR still, so it's yet to catch up with the progress that's being made, and I'm sure once the council formally endorses the report that those sorts of changes can have effect. Okay. I suggest perhaps I run through the presentation, and if there's a clarity, it's something obviously then do sing out, but perhaps it'd be best then if there's any questions at the end or discussion, it shouldn't take too long. Originally, the council in, I'm going to say 2013, but adopted 13 major cycle routes for the city, and one was going from the city to New Brighton. Subsequently, pleasingly, the council Crown funded post-earthquake the city to sea pathway, which essentially is for the purpose of allowing and following up on what came out of Share an Idea with the community and recognition that the Avon Otakaroa River needed to be more embraced by the community and have access to it. So the route is primarily recreational. It's great, but if you were looking at it from a commuter purpose for getting to New Brighton, it wouldn't be ideal. And particularly if we are targeting, which we are under the MCR's, young age groups through to elderly, people that are perhaps would cycle more but just feel a little uncertain or unsafe to do that. So on a sunny day, it'd be fine. 4:30, 5:30 on a winter's day, trying to commute back, it'll be in the dark. There won't be potentially any other casual surveillance around. So it is wanting from the purpose of what MCR objectives we're looking to achieve. It's perfectly fine from the objective that it's now set out with the Crown funding to provide community embracement. So an assessment was done looking at what options might be best to consider. And it could have, depending on how the scoring went, it could have actually looked at using that river corridor and working up the designs and doing shortcuts across some of the convoluted sections and so forth. So those are all were assessed, and a report is now finalising, is going to council, who is in step 3 there. I've got community board responses to council. That would, as part of a metropolitan route in MCA, it tends to go to council, and they determine, and then when they go to consultation, that is when the community board input is fully embraced on those projects. At the moment, there are several resolutions of council looking at asking for staff to give them a report on rapid rollout options for this particular route, but also the other 2 NCRs that are outstanding. The determination of what rapid rollout is and isn't will be included in the staff report, because to some people it means one thing and to others it is another. We can talk about that later if you'd like. I'll move into the presentation. This is the overview of the main routes that were assessed and the sub-routes or connections in between those routes as well. I always find when you're going into a process like this that it looks relatively straightforward, and then you start looking at options and weighing them up, and there's a whole raft of different sub-options that come out. So I'm not saying this is everything, but this is a good collection of what we were thinking will help get us towards thinking about and seeing what comes out of it as a preferred route. As you can see, those routes do travel through your area, and one of them proposes to connect to the Rapanui Shag Rock route at Worcester Road, Worcester Street,
yeah.
and pick up on that, which and take it through to Woodham Road, through to Pages Road, and out through to New Brighton. Another route proposes to look at using the Avon Otakaroa route, essentially the city to sea, and another route looked at peeling off the main route. Linear one would be the Wainoni Road, coming from around the Cuthberts, sort of, the cut on the Avon River and Avon side there, running along Wainoni Road. And the types criteria going into NCR, so I'm assuming you've probably seen these come through, but they are a multi-criteria analysis that is weighed up, and each criteria is given a score. Those scores are undertaken by at a staff level, and it's a panel that looks to it to try and moderate and get a consistency through it. There's also a weighting that are given to some of those different criteria, and that's based on experience with the MCRs and what the council has found its focus has been towards. So there is a weighting that means that you have to use a calculator at the end to try and sort out all the weightings, because they add up to more than 100%. However, that is a standard process that we've been going through with this. So those design contexts you see all tend to be around the objectives and the of meeting the user's needs with SEPTED, safety, comfort, attractiveness, coherence and directness for the cyclist. Then there's the impacts on the community and stakeholders, and then there's also the actual deliverability of the costs, and are we needing resource consents and is it buildable? The preferred option, which is primarily the area directly in your boundary. So it's this section, say it's two of the main options look to use the to start off close to town using the existing facilities of the city to see, and one, the Rapanui Shack Rock. Some of the advantages are the different connections that they lead to. We're looking at commuters and utility and on a day-to-day basis, how useful these will be as well. So that's the background. Some of the lighting issues, we tend to take a sept head. It's crime prevention through environmental design, and that might look at something that potentially looks great in the daytime, not being fantastic in the middle of the evening. And there's a point where really, you know, the criteria for safety is yes or no rather than a score. That's showing Woodham Road carrying on through, and that's pretty much this section or zone where it splits up from Curves Road to Anzac Drive to introduce Wainoni Road. And for your information, it's around the Pages Road connecting up with the new bridge that's proposed to be put in place soon. And then the options of Hawke Street, Seaview or Beresford leading to Marine Parade. That's just a quick overview, which you would see in that main report that you have, which breaks it down to all the text as well. And that is the preferred option at this stage. It is going to council, as I say. We envisage it'll be going there in the next month to 2 months maximum. And we will be looking for the council to endorse the process, which is not to say that it's absolutely adopting that as the preferred, but what it will allow staff to do is develop the rapid rollout options for council in earnest based on costings around the most likely route that can be chosen. You'll again be aware, I guess, Papanui Parallel MCR was an MCR that went through, and whilst council had adopted, if you like, a preferred route, the consultation came back and it backed up, and then it reassessed a sub-option and set them aside and put them out to consultation separately as well, so that, you know, it's not a, I guess I'm saying it's not a foregone conclusion. It's still open to challenging community input to adjust those routes to whatever the council's thinking is best in the interest of everyone. And this is really just probably a page that doesn't need to be there. It shows some of the facilities. But it is in the report showing the different versions and options with shared paths and so forth, which a lot of projects don't delve into when they're doing route selection, but for cycling it is quite affected by what type of routes and the ability of those routes, those types of facilities to fit into different routes and the impacts that that would be on the community that they're travelling through. So to say, there's this information session with yourselves, then the council meeting, which would be a resolution. We're asking them to, at this stage, we're looking to ask them to endorse the report. And then we would also in parallel be going to the council to meet its resolution of looking at options for a rapid rollout, which whilst it sounds like it might be rapid, and it could be, it's also looking potentially at the type of methods used. So it may be looking at options like using flexi posts, an example that's often used as the park terrace example, where it's relatively low cost and low on civil engineering. That I believe, yep, it's the last.
Oh, thank you. I have Pauline.
Yeah, thank you. Can we please pull up the map with the route selection on? because I was a bit confused, because when you look at the key, the yellow on the side says that the preferred option is the green one. Whereas actually you're saying the preferred option is the yellow one, which says option 3.
Some of the colours may have varied over the course. I wouldn't say they hadn't. I certainly know that one of the early versions was using some different colour schemes, but I can categorically clarify that the current yellow version in front of us.
So the yellow should say option 1 in the key. Preferred option. So, and then
Option one's the preferred option.
pardon?
It doesn't actually say that option one is the preferred option though in that.
Oh,
just-
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the difference. Okay, thank you. Normally option 1 is like, my second question is when we're looking at coming down to the city end, we've already got that little bit where we start at Fitzgerald Ave there and we come across Stanmore Road where we've got those lights and you come around the river. Why can't we just go across and get onto Woodham Road there, which is the bottom of Linwood Ave? You've got the orange line there joining up with the other western side of Woodham Road. That to me would seem quite sensible. I know it doesn't take you to the what's the other one called that goes out to Rapa Nui, but I don't think that is necessary because I think that if you're looking at commuting from New Brighton, coming down the yellow line and then you just go straight across there, you're going to get into the city much quicker in a more direct route. So do you know why that has not been considered as an option there?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it wasn't considered as an option, but in the multi-criteria analysis, there is some text around that. It was absolutely recognised that that is a great link, but if you're looking on average for most people when they're coming into town, the yellow route to Rapa Nui Shedrock brings them out into the middle of town, which would suit most people to a degree, whereas the one from the Avon Otakaroa brings them to the north of the city. Absolutely, it's convenient. As you say, it taps into the cycle network, but it is a bit further for more people to then access their places of work or where they're going in town on a statistical basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. So I guess I got a question, and it's not about the route because the route makes sense. It's more about I've read in the document afterwards around the facility type, and is it looking at doing a shared path along Woodham Road?
That is the draft approach, absolutely. It's not, how to say, it's not a finalised decision. Often the route facility type will be considered as part of the more detailed planning as it goes. But there is an assessment that sits alongside there to make sure, and it's an estimation of what might work best, things in balance. The council may decide that it doesn't want a shared path and wants to use the carriageway and have a bi-directional or unidirectional separated on both sides. Absolutely, it's a possibility. Some of it links around some of the other connections that it comes to. Probably where we put in recently at the top of Woodham Road, a connection with Worcester Street or with the school, and that's had a variable reception, but it is a facility that's there now that may be useful, but it could be changed if we put in unidirectional. Yeah, it is, say, draft.
Yeah.
And
Thanks. I guess it's just one of the critiques we often hear is like, shared paths are good, right? If they're in the right space and like through parks and reserves, etc. And sometimes when you try and fit them down road corridors, actually it creates other issues.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Did anybody else? That'll be good. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers.
Starting to worry about my partner now. Might try and give her a ring, just make sure she's okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Cool.
That's really exciting to see that coming along. It'll be
I
fun.
had a quick, sorry,
Oh.
Pauline, to talk over you. I had a quick question if
I
I
thought
could.
you were saying goodbye. So you're waving your hand.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, just
Okay.
real happy. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've got a question. Hey, you've just been at the Burwood Linwood Coastal. What was their take on it? Their preferred options?
Yeah, look, they didn't have a collective view. There were a number of questions that we received, which showed there was some variability individually about some of the sub-options, like out in Marine Parade and from Pages Road. There was some concern about where it sits in the consultation process. Some of the members were thinking that it would have been good to have got more public input at this early stage. And we suggested that there isn't a perfect process and that these types of facilities can be just as contentious as much as others want them fully to come past their house. Others
Right.
completely don't. And you could get into a situation where it would be unreasonable to go out to a broad public and just stand back and think that the community can determine amongst itself what might turn out to be very, very difficult exercise. The thinking is that we should at least have an intention and be able to say it's likely that a cycleway could come through here when we go to people to ask them about the impacts that could happen to them.
Right. Sounds like you answered Yanni's questions really well.
Hey,
Cool.
can I just say as well that Mike and I were very, very closely involved in the Papanui Parallel, which was one of the first after the unicycle, and it was the most complex, really. And then as a result, Michael, you alluded to this, but the staff made 86 changes to that, and even sort of brought in another alternative route going around the back of Colombo Street onto Caledonian Road, which didn't end up flying. But yeah, so really looked at and listened to the community quite a lot on that. But it took a long time and a lot of effort. And I guess that's what we're meaning by kind of trying to temper the consultation a wee bit so that it's not so much resource goes into that and we get the job done a bit quicker, because we're never going to please everybody anyway. So, but I think this is a really good start, quite frankly.
Thanks, Pauline. Thanks, Michael.
Great.
Yes. Right, let's finish our official meeting. Uluhia, 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 iti tapanui, kia wātia, kia mama, te nāko, te tinana, te wairua, I te ata, takata. Koiara, I rongo, whakaira, a ki te runga. Kia tina, tina.
Tide.
Okay.